Hey everyone! Today we are going to be working on an 18th century petticoat inspired modern skirt. Yeah, let's get into it. Hi, just so you know, this video is once again sponsored by My Ireland Box, so we'll get to that a little later in the video. So for 18th century skirts, or like the petticoats, they would have kind of like a back and a front, but connected along the sides. So you would have it, you'd pull it up, tie it in the front, and then pull the front up and tie it in the back, and then you would have these like maybe 10-inch or so gaps along the sides where you could then put your hands through and reach your pockets. And I also hope to make some pockets this week. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on this. Last week I picked up this nice fabric. If you watched my last video, then you know the story of how I picked this up. But I'm glad I did, because now we can make something with it. It is a nice lightweight linen, really great for summer, even though summer's kind of like... Anyway, let's get started. So for this skirt, we are not going to make it full length. We are going to make it below the knee length, something that I can modernize and go frolicking in the woods with. So I also only have 2 yards, so that also is why we're doing this. Yeah. So what I just did is I cut the fabric in half widthwise. And now they are the proper length. Each panel is the proper length for the skirt. So now I get to go through and pleat each panel so that it is half of my waist, a little over half of my waist, because when we want it, there we go. What we want it to do is to slightly wrap around so there's no gap at the sides. So I want it to go slightly further than the midway point, just so that it overlaps right here, but not too much because I still want to be able to get my hand into the pocket. So, time to pleat. All right, so we have the first side done. Now I'm going to go ahead and just pleat the second side real quick. Alright, so once I got both sides pleated, I just went ahead and sewed them both together. Now, I did something a little weird, on purpose this time. Basically what I did is I sewed the whole side seam together, even though there's supposed to be a bit of a gap here where it's not sewn. And the reason why I did that is because I want to iron the seam flat and then turn it in to cover up all the raw edges, especially because this is already fraying like crazy. So I want to clean up the raw edges as soon as possible. And then once I have that ironed down and the raw edges hidden, then I'll undo the seam probably for 10 inches. That way I get a really clean edge and I don't have to worry about kind of like making it up. If that makes any sense at all. The seams on the sides have been cleaned up and the raw edges are now hidden. I did something a little blasphemous and I didn't fill it down by hand. I used the machine. But it looks really nice if it focuses on it. There we go. And the thread I used is pretty much invisible, so you can barely see the machine stitching on the outside. Which, I mean, like, this is a modern interpretation of an 18th century petticoat, so I don't care. So now I have to take apart that stitching on the sides, but it is time to get ready for work. So I will catch up with you guys later. Fare thee well. Okay, so the skirt is coming together very nicely. However, I think I need to redo the pleats or enhance them a bit because it is a little too big for my waist. Here we go. So this comes all the way back here. I want it to come here, just so like it overlaps a lot. That's it. I do want it to overlap like an inch, but this overlaps like 3 inches on each side. So I do have to go through and do something with the pleats. Yeah. So we've just been introduced to Mrs. Elton and Emma, and I love her so much. Just had to fill you in there. Also, I've seen this movie 1,000 times. It's my favorite Austen movie. Though, don't get your panties in a bunch because the 2005 Pride and Prejudice is, you know, right up there with it. It's just, yeah. Okay. The skirt is going very well. I kind of cheated and did some pleats on top of pleats, but I think it looks pretty good and it saved me a bunch of time. So now I get to work on the ties. I think what I'm going to do with the ties is I'm going to put a ribbon on the waistband. That's the length for it to tie. And then I will cover it with fabric to be the waistband. If that makes any sense, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. We're going to pause my content for just 1 second to talk about our sponsor today, which is My Ireland Box. My Ireland Box is a subscription box from Ireland that sends a variety of Irish goods right to your door. This box that they sent me is their June box, which had a variety of snacks, a bar of chamomile soap with a handcrafted wooden soap dish, a beeswax candle, and a cute little tree adoption certificate saying that I am the proud parent of an Irish oak tree in the southwest of Ireland. Pretty dang cute if you ask me. If you are interested in your own My Ireland Box, visit them at myirelandbox.com. And with a 3-month subscription right now, you can get a free sterling silver pendant necklace worth over $70. Alright, back to whatever it is I was working on before this wee interruption. Alrighty, so we have a finished skirt in 2 days. This is so exciting. Now it's time to work on pockets, which I'm going to use the fabric that is left over from my 1890s walking skirt, which if you remember that video, cool. If you don't, also cool. But this fabric is great. It's kind of an awkward bit of remaining fabric, so this is perfect for this project. It's also very sturdy, which means that the pockets will be able to last a bit with, constant usage. So that is what I'm gonna do. Let's get started on them. I already went and watched Burnley and Trowbridge's video series on how to make 18th century pockets. It's a pretty simple design. It's kind of just like a rounded off triangle that you repeat 4 times, so you have front and back on both sides, and then you put a waistband on it. It's pretty simple. So I'm going to go ahead and just make my own pattern. I'm not going to print out a pattern because I don't have a printer currently, but it's an easy pattern enough to make up. So. Okay, so for the outer edge of the pocket, I'm going to just do a French seam just to encase the raw edges. Nothing too difficult there. It does fray a bit, that's why I want to have that extra strength. But for this bit, I actually think it would just be easier to encase it. So I cut out some simple tape and I'm just going to encase the raw edge in this. And then I'll move on to connecting the front and back. All right, we got 2 pockets done. I did them kind of differently. The first one I did a regular, I did a stitch and then I trimmed off excess, then flipped it inside out and then stitched it again to encase the raw edges. And then I flipped it right side out again so that now it has a really clean edge. But then I realized that I didn't actually mind the exposed seams on the right side. So if you look at this one, you can see the stitching here, whereas this one is completely clean. I don't know, but I kind of prefer this. So next time I make pockets, I might just do it this way. The seams are still clean, and all the raw edges are encased. There won't be any fraying, but I don't know, I kind of like this look. So now all I have left to do is add the ribbon that will tie them to my waist. Ta-da! Okay, I have finished this project in 3 days. I am on a roll, guys. I'm very proud of myself for getting through this so quickly. It was a very easy project, and I definitely recommend something like this for anyone who is interested in historical costuming and is new to sewing, because there weren't really any problems with this, which is rare for me. Usually I come across 1 or 2 road bumps in the road. But with this, it was just like, I mean, yeah, I did come across a problem with the pleats. Like, I didn't put enough pleats into it, but that wasn't even a problem. I just had to enhance the pleats, and that was it. There are no closures to deal with. There weren't really any like measurements to deal with. It was just that was it. So highly recommend. I really like the way it turned out. It's really cute and very frolic in the woodsy. So I'm a happy camper. Any hoozles, go ahead and comment below, like this video, or even subscribe. I will see y'all later. Goodbye.